The price of freedom. The maintenance tunnels of Space Station Omega-7 stank of oil and desperation. Commander Sarah Chen pressed herself against the corroded wall, her heart pounding as patrol boots echoed through the adjacent corridor. The alien prisoner she'd just freed, a tall, crystalline being with faceted skin that sparkled even in the dim emergency lighting, crouched beside her, moving with impossible grace for someone who'd spent the last 3 months in a containment cell. "They're coming," the alien, who called herself Starweaver, whispered. Her voice carried the distinct harmonic resonance of the Lumini species, like wind chimes in a digital storm. "You can still walk away, Commander. Return to your post. Tell them I escaped on my own." Sarah checked her neural implant's tactical display, watching the red dots of the security team converge on their position. "Not happening. What they're doing to your people, it's wrong. I swore an oath to protect, not to help imprison innocent species for their technological secrets." The station's PA system crackled to life. "Attention all personnel. This is Admiral Drake. Commander Chen has aided in the escape of a Class A detained specimen. She is to be considered armed and dangerous. Lethal force is authorized." Starweaver's crystalline features shifted in what Sarah had learned was their equivalent of a frown. "They're calling me a specimen again. After all the conversations, the shared knowledge, She trailed off, her inner light dimming slightly. "That's why we're ending this today." Sarah pulled out her modified pulse pistol, checking its charge. "Ready for the next part of the plan?" "You mean the part where we somehow reach the quantum communications hub, broadcast the evidence of human military experiments on my people to every major system in the Alliance, and hopefully don't die in the process?" Starweaver's facets caught the light as she tilted her head. "I'm starting to understand why your species has survived so long. You're all insane." Sarah grinned despite the situation. "That's not even the craziest thing I've done this week." She tapped her neural implant, bringing up the station schematics she'd memorized. 3 levels up, past the primary security checkpoint. The evidence is queued and ready to broadcast. We just have to dash. The wall beside them exploded inward as a breach charge detonated. Sarah grabbed Starweaver and rolled, putting her own body between the alien and the debris. Through the smoke, armored figures poured in, weapons raised. "Commander Chen." The lead figure removed his helmet, revealing the weathered face of Captain Rodriguez. "Stand down. Think about what you're doing. Your career, your future." "I have thought about it," Sarah replied, keeping her weapon trained on him while positioning herself to shield Starweaver. "I've thought about how we captured peaceful explorers. How we're dissecting them to steal their quantum technology. How everyone just follows orders without questioning what we've become." "They're aliens," Rodriguez spat. "Their technology could give humanity an edge we desperately need." "They're people," Sarah countered. "With families, culture, dreams. Just like us. And what we're doing to them, that's not an edge. That's an atrocity." Starweaver stepped forward, her crystalline form pulsing with inner light. "Your Commander Chen showed me something I didn't believe existed in humans, the capacity to see beyond fear, beyond the desire for power. She proved that your species can choose compassion over conquest." "Touching," a new voice said. Admiral Drake strode through the smoke, his cybernetic eye glowing malevolently. "But irrelevant. Security teams are converging on all routes to the comm hub. You've lost, Sarah. Don't add more charges to your court-martial." Sarah felt Starweaver's hand touch her shoulder. Through that simple contact, a plan formed between them, desperate, probably suicidal, but possible. Sarah smiled, the same smile that had gotten her through pilot training, through impossible missions, through every time someone had told her she couldn't or shouldn't. "You know what your problem is, Admiral." She adjusted her grip on the pulse pistol. "You've spent so long looking down on other species, you've forgotten to look up." Before anyone could react, Sarah fired, not at the security team, but at the environmental control panel above them. Emergency containment protocols activated instantly as the section's atmosphere began to vent. In the chaos, Sarah grabbed Starweaver's hand. "Hold on," she said, activating her magnetic boots. "And whatever you do, don't let go." As alarms blared and security teams scrambled, Sarah Chen and her alien companion began their desperate race through the dying heart of Omega-7, their fates now bound together by a choice that would either save two species or doom them both. The real question wasn't whether they'd succeed, it was how many more would join their cause once the truth was revealed. Because on that day, humanity would have to choose, continue down the path of fear and domination, or embrace a future where different species could stand together as equals. Through fire and void. The space between maintenance shafts turned into a deadly maze as Sarah and Starweaver navigated through Omega-7's deteriorating sections. Emergency force fields flickered like dying stars, struggling to contain the atmospheric breach they'd left behind. Sarah's magnetic boots clanked against the metal flooring, each step calculated in the fluctuating artificial gravity. Security teams converging from decks 5 and 7, Starweaver announced, her crystalline body pulsing with data streams she somehow pulled from the station's network. "They're sealing bulkheads to trap us in this section." Sarah's neural implant projected a shifting holographic map before her eyes. "They don't know about the maintenance shaft XJ-249. It's not on any official blueprints." She managed a quick grin. Being chief of station security had its advantages. Had. Starweaver's harmonic voice carried a note of concern. "You're still processing the permanence of your choice." "Not processing. No regrets." Sarah paused at a junction, checking for patrols. "I've spent 5 years watching humanity's desperation for technological superiority corrupt everything we once stood for. The experiments, the lies, she broke off as heavy boots echoed from above. They pressed themselves against the wall as a squad of armed troops rushed past on the upper level. Through the grating, Sarah caught glimpses of heavy assault rifles and blast armor. They were taking no chances. 3 minutes until they realize this section is clear, Starweaver calculated. The quantum communications hub is 2 levels up, but the direct routes will be heavily guarded. Sarah pulled out her tablet, showing a crawlspace that ran between the station's outer hull and its radiation shielding. "Then we don't take a direct route. Hope you're not claustrophobic. My species evolved in crystalline caves smaller than your human coffins." Starweaver's faceted face shifted in what Sarah had learned was amusement. "Lead the way." They found the access panel exactly where Sarah's smuggler contact had marked it. As she worked to bypass the security locks, Starweaver kept watch, her crystalline body dimmed to avoid detection. The panel finally clicked open, revealing a tight passage bathed in the purple glow of radiation shielding. "The shielding will interfere with their scanners," Sarah explained, "but we've got maybe 15 minutes before exposure becomes dangerous for me." My people use radiation for light breakfast." Starweaver's attempt at human humor was oddly touching. "I'll shield you as much as I can. The least I can do for my rescuer." They crawled through the cramped space, every movement careful to avoid touching the shielding. Sarah's radiation detector ticked upward steadily, but Starweaver's crystalline form seemed to absorb the worst of it, her facets refracting harmful particles away from her human companion. Halfway through their desperate crawl, Admiral Drake's voice boomed through the station's comm system, "Commander Chen. Your actions have branded you a traitor to humanity. But there's still a way out. Hand over the alien specimen, accept disciplinary action, and your family on Earth will remain unaffected by your choices today." Sarah's hands clenched into fists, her knuckles white. Starweaver touched her shoulder gently, crystalline fingers cool against her skin. "Your sister in the Mars colonies," Starweaver said softly. "Your nephew in the Earth education programs. They're targeting them to reach you. They don't know my family." Sarah's voice was steel. The Qin women have been fighting impossible odds for generations. My grandmother smuggled refugees out of the climate wars. My mother led the first successful rebellion against the corporate armies. And me? She smiled grimly. I'm about to show humanity that our greatest strength isn't in dominating other species, it's in standing beside them. They reached another access panel, this one opening into a maintenance bay just one level below the communications hub. As they emerged, Sarah's tactical display lit up with warnings. Security teams were closing in from multiple directions, having finally tracked their trajectory. Sarah. Starweaver's voice was urgent. There's something you need to know. The experiments they were conducting on my people, they weren't just about our quantum technology. They found something in our genetic structure, a capability that your military scientists believe could revolutionize human evolution itself. That's why they'll never let us reach that broadcast center. All the more reason to expose everything. Sarah checked her pulse pistol's charge. Ready to make history? Before Starweaver could respond, the maintenance bay's doors exploded inward. Through the smoke and debris, a massive figure emerged, Captain Rodriguez in a powered assault suit, its massive arms ending in automated weapon systems. Last chance, Commander, Rodriguez's voice boomed through external speakers. Though personally, I'm hoping you resist. I've wanted to test this suit's capabilities against a real target. Sarah raised her pulse pistol, knowing it would be useless against the suit's armor. But as she prepared for what might be her final stand, Starweaver stepped forward, her crystalline body beginning to pulse with an inner light that grew brighter with each second. You wanted our secrets? Starweaver's harmonic voice resonated with new power. Be careful what you wish for. Quantum revelations. The maintenance bay erupted in a spectrum of light as Starweaver's crystalline form pulsed with impossible energy. Captain Rodriguez's assault suit sensors went haywire, automated targeting systems unable to lock onto the alien's rapidly shifting quantum state. Sarah watched in awe as her companion's body seemed to exist in multiple places simultaneously, each version slightly out of phase with the others. Impossible, Rodriguez growled through his suit's speakers. The containment protocols should have neutralized your quantum abilities. You understood so little of what you were studying, Starweaver's voice echoed from multiple locations. Our quantum nature isn't a technology we use, it's what we are. The assault suit's weapons opened fire, cutting through the space where Starweaver's forms danced. But each shot passed through harmlessly, hitting only afterimages as the luminized true form shifted through quantum probabilities. Sarah recognized her opportunity and took aim at the suit's exposed power coupling, her pulse pistol's charge barely scratching the reinforced armor. The suits are designed to withstand anything short of a capital ship's main guns, Rodriguez laughed, turning his weapons toward Sarah. Your little light show won't save either of you. Perhaps not alone, Starweaver's harmonics reached a new pitch. But you forgot the other half of your experiments. The quantum resonance between my people and human consciousness. Before Rodriguez could respond, Starweaver's crystalline hand gripped Sarah's shoulder. The world exploded into possibility. Sarah felt her consciousness expand, guided by Starweaver's quantum nature, seeing every potential outcome of every possible action simultaneously. Time seemed to flow like water, each moment a branching stream of probability. Focus, Starweaver's voice echoed in her mind. Find the path. Sarah's enhanced perception analyzed the assault suit, seeing its weaknesses across 1,000 potential realities. There, a maintenance panel where the quantum shielding didn't quite overlap. Now, a moment when the targeting systems would recalibrate. Here, the exact trajectory needed. Moving with inhuman precision, Sarah fired 3 shots in rapid succession. The first hit the panel seam, creating a microscopic gap in the shielding. The second shot slipped through that gap precisely as the suit's sensors recalibrated. The third shot followed the second through the damaged systems, finding the suit's primary power core. Rodriguez barely had time to register surprise before his suit's systems catastrophically failed. The massive machine froze mid-motion, its pilot trapped inside as emergency shutdown protocols engaged. What? What did you do to me? Sarah stumbled as Starweaver released her, the quantum awareness fading like a vivid dream. Showed you what they really wanted from my people, Starweaver steadied her. Human minds are uniquely adaptable to quantum perception. Your military didn't just want our technology, they wanted to use us to evolve humanity itself. By experimenting on innocent beings, Sarah's voice was bitter. By torture and imprisonment. But you proved there was another way. Starweaver's facets caught the emergency lighting. Voluntary cooperation. Mutual understanding. The very things your admiral fears most. Warning klaxons blared as more security teams converged on their position. Sarah checked her tactical display. They were still one level below the quantum communications hub, with dozens of armed soldiers between them and their goal. Speaking of cooperation, Sarah managed a tired smile. Feel like sharing any other quantum tricks? The resonance takes a severe toll on human neurology. Too much exposure could burn out your neural pathways completely. Starweaver's harmonic voice carried genuine concern. I won't risk your mind just to save myself. Not your choice to make. Sarah checked her pulse pistol's remaining charge. I meant what I said about standing together. Whatever happens, we face it as equals. The maintenance bay's secondary doors began to glow red as cutting torches worked to breach them. Sarah's tactical display showed at least 30 armed soldiers waiting to storm in, backed by 2 more assault suits. The odds were impossible. Sarah loved impossible odds. The evidence we're carrying doesn't just expose the experiments, she said, mind racing through options. It shows successful cooperation between humans and Lumini. Proves we can work together, evolve together, without forcing it through violence. That's what terrifies them most, the idea that their whole justification for power is built on lies. And you believe exposing this truth is worth dying for? Starweaver asked softly. I believe some truths are worth any price. Sarah took up a defensive position. The question is, are you willing to trust a human one more time? To share your quantum nature with someone who chooses to stand beside you, not cage you? The doors began to give way, metal groaning as they were forced apart. Through the growing gap, Sarah could see the assembled firepower waiting to end their desperate run. But she also saw something else in Starweaver's crystalline features, a decision being made, a trust being given. My people have a saying. Starweaver's form began to pulse with renewed energy. The strongest bonds are those freely chosen. She extended her hand to Sarah just as the doors burst open and the security teams rushed in. As their fingers touched, reality itself seemed to hold its breath, waiting to see what human determination and alien trust could accomplish together. Evolution of trust. Reality fractured into a kaleidoscope of possibilities as Starweaver's quantum nature merged with Sarah's consciousness for the second time. But this connection was deeper, more complete than before. Every security officer flooding into the maintenance bay appeared to move in slow motion, their trajectories mapped across countless potential timelines. Remember, Starweaver's voice resonated through Sarah's quantum-enhanced awareness, we're not just fighting them. We're showing them another way. Sarah understood. In this enhanced state, she could see not just the paths to victory, but the consequences of their choices rippling through possible futures. They weren't just trying to survive, they were writing the first chapter of a new relationship between their species. Moving in perfect synchronization, Sarah and Starweaver began their impossible dance through the security forces. Sarah's every motion was precisely calculated, disarming rather than destroying, incapacitating without causing permanent harm. Starweaver's crystalline form phased through solid matter, her quantum fluctuations disrupting weapon systems and power armor. Admiral, one of the security officers managed to transmit, they're working together somehow. The alien's quantum abilities, the commander is using them too. Through the chaos, Admiral Drake's voice crackled over the station speakers. This is exactly what we feared. Chen's mind has been compromised by alien influence. Activate Protocol Omega. Full containment authorization. Warning lights shifted from red to purple, the signal for lethal force authorization. But Sarah and Starweaver were already moving to the next phase of their plan. Through their shared quantum perception, they'd identified a maintenance shaft that led directly to the communications hub. The shaft's radiation shielding, Sarah communicated through their link. It'll kill any human who tries to follow us. But not us, Starweaver responded. Not together. They broke away from the security forces, diving into the narrow shaft as weapons fire sparked around them. Sarah's radiation detector screamed warnings, but Starweaver's quantum field enveloped them both, shifting the deadly particles into harmless wavelengths. Behind them, they could hear Admiral Drake barking orders, "Get those assault suits to the comm hub. They're going for a full broadcast." Sarah, Starweaver's harmonic voice carried concern as they climbed. "The quantum resonance, your neural patterns are starting to show strain." She was right. Sarah could feel it, a building pressure behind her eyes, electric tingles running down her spine. Human minds weren't meant to perceive reality this way, at least not yet. But she pushed through the discomfort. "How long?" she asked. 10 minutes at most before permanent damage begins. The broadcast only needs 5. They emerged into the communications hub, a massive chamber filled with quantum relay technology. Banks of servers hummed with data streams connecting Omega-7 to the broader human alliance. At the center stood the main control terminal, their goal. "Stop!" Admiral Drake's voice rang out. He stood at the opposite entrance, flanked by the 2 remaining assault suits. "Look at yourself, Chen. Letting an alien entity invade your mind. Betraying everything humanity has built." "I see more clearly than ever," Sarah responded, even as blood began to trickle from her nose, the first sign of neural stress. Humanity built its empire on fear of the unknown. But we can be so much more. "We're surrounded," Starweaver observed through their link. "The quantum connection is damaging you. We need to end this now." Sarah's hands flew across the control terminal, preparing the broadcast. "Humanity needs to see the truth. All of it. Not just the experiments, but this moment, proof that our species can work together, evolve together, by choice. I won't let you destroy everything we've worked for." Drake raised his sidearm. "Even if it means killing my best officer." Time seemed to slow as Sarah's quantum-enhanced senses tracked the Admiral's finger tightening on the trigger. She could see the bullet's potential path, could calculate exactly how to dodge. But doing so would take precious seconds away from completing the broadcast. In that frozen moment of decision, Starweaver's consciousness brushed against hers. No words were exchanged, but Sarah felt her companion's resolve, her trust, her willingness to risk everything for this chance at a better future. Sarah's fingers never stopped moving across the terminal. The gunshot rang out just as she hit the final command sequence. But instead of pain, she felt Starweaver's crystalline form shift, somehow existing in multiple places at once, becoming a shield of quantum probability between Sarah and the bullet. As alarms blared announcing an emergency broadcast in progress, Sarah turned to meet Drake's shocked expression. Blood now flowed freely from her nose and ears, the price of prolonged quantum perception. But her voice was steady as she spoke to her former commander. "You wanted to force evolution through fear and control. But real change, real progress, can only come through trust." Echoes of change. The quantum communications hub erupted in chaos as Sarah's broadcast began transmitting across every secured channel in human space. Emergency screens flickered to life, showing not just the documented evidence of military experiments, but live footage of the current moment, a human and Lumini working in perfect harmony, demonstrating a cooperation that military leaders had claimed was impossible. "Cut the feeds," Drake commanded, his voice cracking with desperation. "Shut down all quantum relays." Too late, Sarah managed through gritted teeth, blood now staining her uniform collar. The broadcast is self-replicating through subspace. Every human colony, every military outpost, every civilian news network, they're all seeing the truth. The assault suits moved forward, weapons charged, but Starweaver's quantum field kept them at bay. Her crystalline form had become almost blinding, existing in multiple states simultaneously as she maintained the protective barrier around Sarah. The neural degradation is accelerating, Starweaver's harmonic voice carried genuine fear. "Sarah, we have to break the quantum connection. Your mind can't take much more." Through their shared perception, Sarah could feel it, synapses firing erratically, consciousness fragmenting under the strain of perceiving too many realities at once. But she also felt something else, feedback coming through the quantum relays. Responses to their broadcast. "Look," she said, gesturing to the screens with a shaking hand. "They're responding." Messages flooded in from across human space. Military officers expressing shock and dismay at the exposed experiments. Civilian scientists offering sanctuary to any Lumini held captive. Colony governors denouncing the military's actions. And underneath it all, a growing wave of public sentiment calling for immediate changes in human-alien relations. "It doesn't matter," Drake snarled, though his face had gone pale watching the reactions. "The military council will suppress this. Write it off as alien manipulation. Your little revolution ends here." Sarah laughed, the sound edged with pain as her overtaxed mind struggled to maintain the quantum connection. "You still don't understand. This was never about revolution. It was about evolution, showing humanity a better path forward." More blood trickled from her ears as reality seemed to splinter around her. Through their link, she felt Starweaver's mounting concern. "Your neural patterns are collapsing," the Lumini warned. "If we don't break the connection now, the damage will be permanent." "Not yet," Sarah's vision blurred as she fought to stay conscious. "Need to make sure, need to show them one more thing." Using the last of her strength, she activated the station's internal sensors, broadcasting detailed scans of her own brain activity alongside Starweaver's quantum patterns. The data showed their perfect synchronization, the voluntary merger of human consciousness with Lumini quantum states. "See," she addressed the cameras still transmitting across human space. "This is what they were trying to achieve through force and torture. But it only works through trust. Through choice. Through recognizing each other as equals." The assault suits suddenly powered down, their pilots choosing to step out rather than continue fighting. Throughout the station, security teams were standing down, weapons lowered as they watched the truth unfold on every screen. "Sarah." Starweaver's voice was gentle but urgent. "It's done. You've shown them. But if we maintain the connection any longer, you'll die." She was right. Sarah could feel herself slipping, consciousness fragmenting across too many quantum states. The human mind wasn't meant to perceive reality this way, at least, not yet. Not without proper preparation and understanding. "Promise me," she whispered to Starweaver, "promise you'll stay. Help them understand. Show them how to do this right." "I promise," Starweaver's harmonics carried absolute conviction. "Now please, let go." With the last of her willpower, Sarah released her hold on the quantum perception. Reality snapped back to normal perspective with brutal force. She felt herself falling, but Starweaver's crystalline arms caught her before she hit the floor. Through darkening vision, she saw Admiral Drake being restrained by his own security teams. Saw more messages flooding in from across human space. Saw the beginning of the change she'd fought for. "Did we do it?" she managed to ask, fighting to stay conscious. "Did we show them another way?" Starweaver's faceted features shifted in what Sarah had learned was their equivalent of a smile. We did more than that. We showed them the first step toward true evolution, the kind that comes from wisdom rather than fear. As consciousness faded, Sarah heard new alarms blaring through the station. But these weren't warning signals. They were the sounds of docking clamps engaging, of airlocks cycling. The first responders were arriving, not to stop them, but to help. To learn. To understand. Humanity had seen the truth. The real question now was, what would they choose to do with it?